was expecting to like hang out for a while. Wow, okay, hi.
Yes. How have you been?
Good. Good morning. Also,
Good evening.
I kicked my thing. Um, so thank you for joining me. Just for the sake of the YouTube recap that I will put up later. My name is Mallory Cywinski. I'm a contemporary literary fiction author. I am signed with PS Literary Agency, and I am joined with A.L. Sinclair. So if you want to
Yeah.
give your spiel of who you are.
Yes, I am A.L. Sinclair, also known as Amanda. I am a dark fantasy author, and I am represented by Confluence Literary Agency.
Hooray! So we, it's just funny for us. So Amanda and I met in the query trenches like a year ago. And
Yes.
and this is the first time that we're talking, except for when we did the live pitches. And we were like,
Yeah.
there was like 4 different agents and we had talked so I saw you real briefly.
Yes. We voice noted, but yes, this is the first time
Yeah.
we're actually talking face to face.
And it's funny, it was, what?
I was just gonna say it's really funny because I feel like it doesn't feel weird because we've been
Yeah.
chatting for so long.
I know, and it's funny too because you're in Australia, so it's morning for Amanda. It's 7 o'clock here-ish in Pennsylvania, but my partner is Australian, and so
Yes.
it's like I just go on Instagram and I find cool Australian people.
Just collect them.
I'm just gathering from you guys are from different parts of the country, but it's like it's so funny. I'm like, oh no, she's Australian too. Like,
She's
what?
good.
I don't know. I outsource, I guess. It's fine. Yeah, but I was thinking about it. I have iced coffee. I
Yes.
still a straw wiggling around. Um, our friendship, it could be like a publishing like reality show. Like if we if we had been like recording, like when we first started talking, because it's like we literally and when we met, we were both querying books that we were not signed on.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
Like what?
We
Like
both.
yeah, so not only we met in the query trenches, but then we also both pivoted.
Yes.
You wrote something, and we'll get into that. I want to talk about that. Like, so you wrote something based off what you were querying. I like took a left turn. I read Sky Daddy by Kate Folk, and I was like, you know what? We're just gonna like. I like threw all the papers off my desk. I'm like, let's try this, and then that was what I got signed on.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think what order to go in because I also like when we both had messages from agents, we were both like, I think this is the call. And
Yes.
both of us were like, no, they just want to talk. And it's like, of course it was the call. Both of us like, no, I
I
don't
think
think
it just might be like an initial
they're
sense
just really
check.
nice. Yeah, they're just nice and they just want to like have a chat because they're being nice. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, tell us about I got so tell us like walk us through your process of your first manuscript
Yeah.
and then like all how that became where you are now.
Yeah. So the first manuscript I started writing in like October 2024. And it was the first time I was writing fantasy or fiction in like 10 years. I used to write a lot when I was younger, but then, adult life gets in the way and you kind of pivot. So I was still writing a lot, but I was writing like nonfiction articles for work and for like the business that I was running. Um, but this idea had been brewing in my head for years, and then it just suddenly was the right time and it poured out of me. And I think I must have written like over 200,000 words in the span of about 5 months, because literally I would wake up really early, I would go to bed really late. I couldn't stop writing.
Yeah.
And obviously like edited it way down over the course of that time. And it took about probably 8 months to get it query ready. So I started querying it in probably September 2025.
Yeah.
And yeah, started querying, and the rejections started coming in, which is really
Well,
fun. But I was getting a few full requests. Like I was
and
getting a full.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but so when you started querying, you did like, boom, all of them.
Yeah,
Right? So you did.
I I did quite a few. I was doing it in batches. So I was doing like 20 queries at a time. But then every time I would get a rejection, I'd send a new query out.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do, because like you feel like you need some control, and
Yeah.
that was like my sense of control. Like I'm doing something, uh, and yeah, like to get over the soul crushing query challenges, I started writing the next book.
Yeah.
So one of my other author friends was like, "Hey, I'm thinking of doing like a collaboration of short stories around the winter solstice. So for Christmas, does anybody want to do something?" And I was like, you know what? I think I have the seed of an idea. So let's start with that.
Yeah.
And so I started writing the book that ended up getting me an agent.
Yeah. But so it's fascinating. And I think it's a unique way that you got your agent, Rose Conway, who was a delight also.
Mm.
Um, but so she wanted it when it wasn't even done yet. Am I right? So she was
Yes.
like, she's like, wait a minute. She's like, I like where this is going.
Yeah. That was really interesting because I had started it and I thought it was going to be a novella. So,
Yeah,
under 60,000 words.
I
And
know.
so,
'Cause I was messaging you and I was like, Amanda, you are so, I'm like, it's going to be a book. And you're like, no,
I think
it's,
it's fine. I think
it's
it'll be a
fine. It's going to be
novella.
like, I'm getting a lot of good response on my socials. I'm like, yes, you are, because like you have so much to say.
I know.
I'm
It
like
was
this front row seat. I'm like, she, it's her right. She can do what she wants, but
I was so sure it wasn't going to hit the kind of word count to get into like into the fantasy market, and so I wasn't going to be able to query it. But by probably end of February, it was really clear that it was not. It was definitely over the novella word count limit, and so actually, Writing Away Refuge, you recommended that I join that. And so that's how I started to get into this like more live pitch querying stuff.
yeah,
And so I live pitched it a few times to different people, and everybody was like, you need to query this, like
yeah,
actually query it.
yeah,
I was still finishing it out. So I did have a developmental editor. I had beta readers like
yeah,
as I was finalizing it. And so I queried, I kind of reached out to Rose because she also has a side business where she helps like self-publishing authors to self-publish if they're
yeah,
interested in that. Um, so I kind of like, because I had queried her for my original book, I had gotten a rejection on that, but it was like the nicest rejection
yeah,
ever. And I'm so glad I actually ended up getting a rejection on that one because in retrospect, it just wasn't quite right.
yeah.
Um, and you know what that's like because you've kind of
Yeah.
had similar experiences.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like I'd reached out to her because I kept in touch after the rejection, and then I let her know the context of what was going on with the Witch Queen's Gambit, and she was
Yeah.
like, "Send me the first 3 chapters," and I did. And I was close to finishing it. I probably had about 30,000 words left to write.
Mhm.
And so she read it, and within a couple of weeks, she was like, yeah, send me the whole thing. And I finished it, finished the developmental edits. It took me about another couple of weeks.
Mhm.
And then I sent her the whole thing. And that was, as they say, that.
Yeah. It's just,
Yeah.
it's so like, and you mentioned, I just want to go back real quick. So Writing Away Refuge, like those live pitch weekends. So they're hosted by Leanne Ward. I posted about them, I don't know, like a few posts back. You go in, I talk about it all the time, but like there's such an opportunity and like, oh, and they're so affordable. And even if you don't get, an agent from that, it just starts this like, and you can kind of, you see how they're real people and they'll answer your questions and they're overwhelmed over there too. And That's cool. I'm so glad that like that is kind of part of your story. And our friend Lauren, huge part of her story as
Yes.
well, Laura Neely. Um, and so while we're on the topic of just community and how to do all this stuff, like your engagement and your socials are bananas, girl. Like, so let's talk about like building community. We'll go back because I want to talk about riding the sophomore whip and what's that, and because that's bananas. I just cracked 40K today.
Well
Because,
done.
well, thanks, thank you, but I had cut out. Well, I cut out because I was accidentally writing a domestic thriller, and I was like, I hate what this is, and so I was like, you know what, off of their head, and like and so I set myself back, but now like the direction's so much better.
Good. Yeah. You need
Anyway,
to be confident enough to cut it. I think
yeah,
that's such an important, skill that writers get.
yeah. So I want to go back to that because I've got a whole bunch to say about that. But so let's talk about like building community, because just since we are part of each other's communities, and I'm Amanda, like I don't like my protagonist is annoying me today, or whatever, and like you said, we
Yeah.
practice live pitches and voice notes and stuff. So
Yeah.
now, what do you attribute to like your crazy numbers and your engagement?
A lot of it has to do with so for one, starting a community on Instagram is so hard.
Yeah.
It's not what it used to be like back in the day. Engagement is not necessarily as consistent or easy to get. Like people are taking likes as if it's money. Like it's
Yeah.
really not what it was when it started. So it took me a while to build community, but I did find some really great writer groups online, and we just kind of started these group chats where we could like talk about the writing process and like we were chatting, what's the career trenches like, what rejections are we getting,
Yeah.
and just having like that safe space to rant. I think one of the things that's really helped me is I come from having run my own business for a few years, and as part of that I was getting some coaching on marketing, on messaging, on how to really frame up what it is that I do in a way that speaks to my ideal audience. So going back to what we were talking about, having a really clear idea of who your reader avatar is. I know that sounds so wanky, but
No, though, like you need to have someone in mind because
yeah,
you're never going to please everyone. You're not going to please
absolutely.
everyone. Everyone's
No.
going to have a problem, or not everyone. There's always going to be someone who has a problem with what you post, doesn't agree. Like we talked about that like recently in
Oh yeah.
you can post help from the kindness of your heart and someone will have a problem with it. So the avatar, I think,
Absolutely.
is wise and in any business.
Yeah. And be okay with blocking people, because I know I post a lot of feminist content and there are a lot of misogynists out there. And just be okay with blocking. You do not need to respond to every person that like drops a comment on your
Yeah.
post, because not everybody's opinion is valid or warranted.
Yeah.
And sometimes inside thoughts need to stay inside and they don't realize that.
Yeah. You say, thanks for the engagement.
Yeah.
You're out of here. Yeah. I thought there was some content creator and she blocked just every comment from every man. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, good for you. And she's like, here are terrible comments I get from men, and there were none. And I was like, oh, damn, okay. Like,
Just blocking all of them. Yeah.
just all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I think I talk about this so much, but and you do as well, like content pillars and just keeping
Yes.
your bookish page. It's hard because I've self-published before. I do have a backlist, but it's not that I'm not focusing on that right now, or like I love my backlist, and I found community in the indie, especially the indie horror community. But without a book to promo, because of where we are in our journey, we're both signed with agents, but we're editing and we're kind of in that transitional period. Like, yes, one of my content pillars is my book posts, but it's maybe not my number one right now.
Yeah.
And so, and writers are readers, they should be.
Yes.
So I think on focusing on helping is like helping other writers and going through the query trenches.
Yeah.
Because like I'm an introvert. Like, yeah, it's funny. I always talk to my partner about this. It's like I'll get on stage and I'll talk about something that I know about. Or
Yeah.
I'll talk one-on-one, no problem. But like I have like a bell curve, and it's like you get to like 6 to 15, and I'm like, oh God, like I'm like, and so I think I'm more comfortable posting on my page than being a part. I'm in some group chats, but like some of that.
It's yeah. I can't. I mean, you need to know where your limit is as well, because I find that I don't have as much bandwidth to engage in the chats as much as I was maybe at the beginning. I mean, it's been, I think Instagram comes up with these posts like, you've been posting consistently for 60 weeks. And I'm like, yeah,
Oh my God.
I'm tired.
Yeah, like, that's why I'm exhausted. Oh, thank you for the badge, though.
Yeah. And
Yay.
that is one of the worst parts about like the whole thing, right? Is like you do have to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
The algorithm does favor you posting consistently, and that doesn't mean like posting every single day. But I have noticed that I went from having like 1 million views to I think I'm at like 300,000 now, because I was posting every single day for
Yeah.
56 weeks, and
Yeah.
then recently pivoted because I'm like, I am burning out. I would spend an entire day creating content
Yeah.
on the weekend, and like I only get 2 days on a weekend, and one of them was going into content creation.
Wow. But it just you're like you have to do it nowadays. Like, and
Sure.
it's just part and parcel. And like you can whine and complain and text your friends. Don't complain on your feed though.
Yeah.
That's what your writer friends are for. But like you do need, even like famous authors are doing their own. Grady Hendrix keeps his books alive from his zany posts and things. He'll just pop up somewhere and like just be him, and he'll just all of a sudden he'll just restart the curve of his sales. And I think yeah, it would be nice if your publisher did all that stuff, but like let's just be for real here, man. Like I don't know.
I think that's a really important conversation, because I do feel like there's this sense of entitlement, not only for, oh, this is going to be such an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to say it anyways.
Okay, I live on YouTube. It's all right.
But I feel like there is a sense of entitlement within the trad publishing and like even the indie space, where you're thinking, oh, because I wrote a book, I'm entitled to sell it. No, you're not. Like when you're writing the book, you're an artist, and when you have a finished product, it is a product and it needs to be sold. So you still see like, Rihanna is still promoting her makeup brand, and she's a brand.
Yeah.
So,
but if you can wrap your head around and be okay with, hey, yes, I love this and it's special to me, but it is a commodity, you will approach querying differently. Hi, Susie, my best friend. And you will come across to agents as someone they want to work with, because it is a business relationship, and like,
it's the reason I signed with Rose. Like she does say, it's my marketing and the fact that I'm like invested in this as a business, and I'm like serious about it.
Yeah. So same. So I'm with Gemma Painter, and I adore her. I just love her. I would have cocktails with her like all the time. But we are in a business relationship, and she has the cojones to back up. She has a relationship. She has that keen eye. I knew in the call, her editorial suggestions were like, I was like so aligned, like things, because it's funny, because in that call, you will talk, if you get to that point with an agent, you will talk about what needs to change in your book, because, hey, something is going to change. It's not ready to go as it is. It could be awesome, whatever, but there's going to be things. And it's funny because every author just gets to some point, you're like, I'm just going to do it. I'm sick of it. I'm going to query it. And then one of her comments was like, what?
I said, we did that.
We totally did. I'm like, that's it. Like, I can't look at this anymore. I'm going to vomit. So like I sent it out, and she called me on and that's how I knew she really read the book, really digested it, because she was like, you were done writing this. Because right here, you're like, and it's done. She's like, what the hell? She's like, the whole book, you're like, whoa, and this glory of prose, and you're wrapped up in the moment. And at the end, it's like, and I was like, oh. But the fact that she could call it out that tightly, I was like, okay, this is gonna work. And that feedback only makes your commodity stronger to appeal to readers, because, like, even if people buy your book, how many of us buy a book and we don't read it? Like,
We
hello.
collect it.
Like, what's it called? There's a word, Sundoku.
That is.
But, like, no one's obligated to actually turn the pages and read it. That is your job, is to make that readability and to get people going. I'm rambling, but
no, I agree.
So, how would you say, and we'll get into this a little more, how would you say your life has changed, like being an agented author versus before? Apart from, like, doing a happy dance, having
Lots
cake.
of happy dances. That's a really, really interesting question, because it hasn't changed significantly, other than no pressure around the querying trenches, because that's a hard process. And if we didn't have community, I think I would not. Like, it is mentally draining, and so even though I'm in the submission trenches now, which is a whole different kind of flavor of process,
Pain.
I can hand that over to Rose, and she's dealing with it, and she will give me feedback when we get feedback. So it's less pressure on me, so I can just take that space to be more of an artist, I suppose. So I do find there's a little bit more pressure in writing the sophomore book, like you're calling it. It's the book that you start when you're agented. The pressure is
on.
And it's self-imposed, right? Like, it's it's a mental thing. But there's, like, this level of performance anxiety that you get before you start it. And you're like, what if this sucks? What if she hates it? What if it's, like, the worst thing? And they're like, oh shit, I should not have signed with this.
What have I done? Oh my god.
Thankfully that didn't happen. Bruce loves the new book. But there is that level of pressure, and I do find it's because I think we're both quite similar in terms of, once we start something, we're just like at it like a dog with a bone. We do not let up.
To the detriment of everything.
Of everything. Mental health, physical health, like chores around the house.
Oh yeah.
What chores?
It's fine. Yeah. The dishes are
so having that partner that can tell you to, like, slow down, calm your horses.
Or he'll make dinner, because he's like, I know you're talking to Amanda today, I'll make dinner, because he's the best.
Aww.
Yeah, but, like, that working on the whip, the pressure, I think, and I feel like I have less time to do it. And like, it's not even necessarily true, but it feels like it. It feels like I need to, it's like a regular job where I need to deliver.
Yes, but it's not, because the creative process isn't like that. Like, it's not supposed to be. And I mean, I'm not doing this full time. This is something that I'm building up as a career. But yeah, I still have, like, other adulting responsibilities. So but I get that, because I've kind of had this internal self-imposed deadline, because I wanted to have the new book ready to query by September. And so I was just, like, punching it out every single weekend and waking up early and, like, writing. And then I felt like I was forcing the words instead of just, like, letting them flow. And then, finally, I just wrote really shitty chapters that just weren't landing. I could feel that they weren't landing emotionally. The arcs were wrong. And thankfully, I've got really good beta readers who are, like, they love my writing, but they're also willing to call me out when
Which
something's
is
not
what that, like,
working.
but you need that because you want them to do it before it's out or to your agent and then be like, what the hell? It's valuable. But like, as long as it's constructive and they're a good fit,
Yeah.
for what it
Yeah.
is that you're writing. Yeah.
Uh,
So your sophomore book, as we'll call it, is changing genre a bit.
it
Um,
is. So the way I kind of frame it, and like this is great from a marketing perspective and something that, you know, writers should think about, is like, who is your ideal audience? And I went beyond genre when I was thinking about mine because I write like deeply feminist dark fantasy that explores the kind of breadth of female psychology.
yeah.
And so, like, thematically, it still fits in that genre,
Mhm.
or in that thematic. But it is slightly deviating from the dark fantasy or historical fantasy genre, and it's a paranormal romance murder mystery mashup.
Why not? That sounds
Because why
like a
not?
delight. Like, that sounds great to me.
It is really fun to write. It's set in Scotland, so it's going back to my like original home, kind of, yeah. So
Yeah,
it's been fun.
that's good.
Yeah.
And like, it's funny. So, like, my first book that I was querying was like a paranormal horror romance. Um,
Yeah.
but like, it didn't. It wasn't like you said about yours. It's like I'm glad I wasn't signed on that because it's just not ready. I don't
Yes.
think it's dead, but it's just like there's something missing that I found.
Yeah.
Like I just found so much freedom when I switched to contemporary lit fic, and I didn't have to kind of. When you write horror, there's a certain escalation that you need to stick
Mm.
to, just like any genre. Like romance has to have a happy ending. Horror, there
Yes.
is a certain you can play with more, and you can certainly get away with more extreme language, extreme situations, strange things happening with little explanation if you want to go that way. But there are
Yes.
certain parameters that it has to hit. And I felt very constricted by that. And I'd written horror for so long. And I always wrote what's called like good for her horror. Like,
Yeah.
you know, because I wrote a lot about, and it was based on my life at the time, women feeling trapped, you know, and it was
Yes.
before my divorce and things
Yeah.
like that where, you know, mothers and women kind of finding themselves, and I'm still doing that, but it's just outside of the horror genre.
Yeah.
But I
Because
talked to my
you
agent. Hmm?
because you've really pivoted genres. Like lit
Mm-hmm.
fic to horror is
Wow. And
very
when
different.
I started with smut. So I was writing like dirty romance and horror at the same time. And then as I kind of got out of the romance, it was fun, but
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, it was like just a fun thing I did. And then I got more into horror, and then I got that, and then all of, you know, nothing's ever wasted. No writing's ever wasted because it kind of
Yeah.
fed this and that and that and that. And so now the whip that I'm working on is speculative fiction, where it's our world, and you know, I think everyone knows that if speculative fiction takes our world and one thing's just a little bit different. There's just something a little bit strange, and maybe it's not really explained.
Yeah.
And I find like if you're stuck and you're looking for just a little pizzazz in your writing, is to just read really widely. Because
Yes.
I read Shark Heart. I don't know if you've ever read that, but basically it's a romance about a married couple, and the husband is becoming a great white shark. And it's just sometimes in the world, and it sounds funny, but when you're reading it, it is devastating. Just like Sky Daddy. It's this woman's sexually attracted to airplanes. Sounds funny, devastating, and so good. And reading these books, I'm like, oh my God, you can do so much. And
Yeah.
so I can't get into it too much. There's a water deity, and she finds a disembodied hand, but it's totally normal, and she just kind of keeps it. And like it sounds funny, but as it goes on, it's like I made myself cry today. I pulled a you. I was writing, I was like, I'm so sorry.
I mean, if you're not devastating yourself, how are you expecting your readers to feel it?
Oh my Lord. What time do I want? Okay, I know you have to go to work, so I'm just trying to keep it on the clock. But I think in terms of getting back to my original point, changing genre where it's important to honor what you want to write, but also if you're going to be a professional author, to make sure you throw a rope back to your audience so that they have some way to follow you.
Yes.
So I think
100%.
with your feminist through line, and I think my style of writing is like my interiority, because I'm so weird.
We love it.
Weirdo. Yeah. So I think that's interesting, but I think it's funny balancing what you want to write with what you should write.
Yeah, I think what you've said is absolutely on point, because you need to be passionate about what you're writing. At the end of the day, you're spending so much time and effort and energy into creating these worlds. And I don't know if you do this, but I certainly, like, one word can change the energy of a sentence. And sometimes I will spend hours on deciding, like, which word to use. Is it a riddle or is it a puzzle? Because they're two different things. And
that's very Haruki Murakami of you.
But it does. And
he
so
says that exact thing in here.
But yeah, like it does, and because you spend so much time as a writer focused on those little nuances and how it changes the experience, even if a reader doesn't recognize that it's changing their experience, like at a subconscious level, it totally is. You need to love what you're writing, the genre that you're writing, and if you don't, then like write something else. It's fine.
Or like, I think too, like taking the time to write it. So like I was in the shower today and I was like, oh, she has to almost drown.
Yeah.
You know, like, but I've been working on my, like, I'm not a pantser. I'm like, I try to be a pantser. It didn't work out. So I went back to Flopper, and it was just, I'm looking at my word count and I'm like, this isn't filling out enough. And then I was like, oh my God, how did you not see that? Of course there has to be this like extra moment here. It's crazy.
Yes.
Right.
I love that you're a plotter. I am a full pantser. I cannot plot to save my life.
I pants once I'm in the moment and I let it just flow, but I have to kind of know what I need to hit. I have to, otherwise.
I have the beats. Like I always know the ending, and I know a few of the beats that I need to hit. So I kind of have a direction that I'm going in, but I never know exactly what is going to happen. And often the characters just like throw a curveball, and I'm like, okay, all right, so we're doing it that way, right?
I heard they used to happen in romance. When I was writing romance, they'd be like, whoa, we're not getting married. You calm down. You're not proposing. Chill out. It's like chapter 3. You accept it. Like, I own you. Yeah. Oh man. All right. I do want to talk about this. We're talking about such fun stuff, and now I'm going to pivot to something that's going to piss us both off. AI in writing. I know. Yeah. I want to talk about it because if and when I get a book deal, there is AI in my book, not written by AI. Author, anti-generative AI. Protagonist, not so much.
Yes.
And that's, and that's like, I just want to be clear. And that's what I said to my agent. I'm like, I am not my protagonist.
Yes.
And to be fair, her mental state, she doesn't really think she's into AI either. And when confronted with the truth that she does know that her best friend is AI, she does not do well when she's confronted with that. It makes her spiral a little bit. But on a broader scale, I mean, I think you like can't have an author conversation without talking about AI.
Oh, yeah. It's so prevalent. Now, I am a pragmatist. I know that it is prevalent and it is everywhere. It is certainly in the big 5. I mean, one of the biggest publishing houses is owned by a company that also owns Gen AI. And if you think that that doesn't mean anything, then please go study how business works
Check your
because it does. And, we've seen CEOs of some of these big fives talk about how AI is going to be integrated or how they're going to use AI. And also coming from working in various types of industries, including consultancy, I know that it's already integrated in some of the biggest companies in terms of simplifying processes. Because at the end of the day, corporations are looking at the bottom line. They want more productivity with less output, and therefore they don't want to pay more people to do the work. They want one person to do the work of 4 people, and the way to do that is through using Gen AI. So it is not going anywhere. However, I do not believe that Gen AI does not belong in art. Art is an exploration of humanity. It's an exploration of our psyche. It's our way to get to know each other. It's our way to process the experiences that we have in a world and try and understand who we are in the context of an ever-changing society. It does not belong there because all it does is regurgitate, right? Mm-hmm. Like it just takes things that are a pattern and it creates the same pattern. You're not going to get creativity and innovation through AI. Yeah. It is not a creative thing. Yeah. It is a process thing.
An emotional nuance and, all of the juicy little details. It's just not, it's very frustrating because I feel like readers, and this is one of those things going to get me in trouble, but it's buried at like minute 37 in YouTube video. But I feel like readers who aren't also writers, maybe it's not such a big sticking point for them.
Yeah.
On that front. Yeah. And that's something not that we have to factor in, but if those are readers that we are hoping will read our books, I feel like our craft it has to be that much better so that we can win them back from the robots.
And I think it actually goes back to, are those your readers? Because my readers, I feel like they're interested in the lyrical prose because my writing is quite lyrical, even though I have a lot of smut in mine too. The prose is a bit more elevated, and I'm not writing for an audience who is looking for print and repeat patterns, or they want to be surprised. They want that depth. And I feel like the people that do like the print and repeat kind of books that are AI generated are not the people that I'm talking to. Yeah. And being okay with that, I think as a writer is important to know who your audience is.
Yeah, and I think those are not the readers going to book conventions, having bookstagram accounts.
No.
Yeah. No. And too, I think, I love the advice and the types of books we're seeing, unhinged writing, which is what I do. My characters are crazy and they think weird things. And, but I just read Fruit Fly, and I'm like, AI could never. It's just the way it's just so weird and unexpected. But I think I don't know. That's just, it's crazy how much is popping up and just the witch hunts. And I'm so glad that Daggermouth did so well, regardless. Not that it was ever not going to, but still, it was just really satisfying to see after that freaking mess.
I do have to say, the witch hunts is ridiculous because, I mean, the last 3 are BIPOC authors.
Yeah.
And it's almost this feeling of we cannot believe that somebody from an ethnic background can write this kind of prose. That's what it's coming across as. And it's so fucking frustrating.
I'm sure.
Because it's almost like you have this higher bar to fulfill to prove that, just because the skin color is different doesn't mean that the literary input into it is generated by a machine.
Yeah. Do you have you changed anything that you do to be able to prove anything?
No, I love that shit. Like,
like
if you
I'm like
work
even
AI,
I'm like, should I be saving like this version? And like I'm like, fuck, like this sucks. Like this is so because I don't save generally I don't save different versions. I get confused. I don't want to like start
which one is
editing like,
it?
oh no, like this is one from October. And I'm like, fuck, like is this something I should start?
No.
You know?
To be fair, like I do write really clean drafts, and it's just the way my brain works. So I didn't have much to change when I wrote The Witch Queen's Gambit. We did like the edits in a couple of weeks. It was mostly line edit level elevations. And same thing with Daisy Darling. I might need to like cut because I overwrite. Um, just to fit within the genre word count, but I've been sending the chapters as I'm writing them to my agent as well as my beta readers. And again, it's mostly like little finessing
Mm-hmm.
that will need to happen in draft two.
Yeah.
But they've seen like versions of a chapter that I've rewritten 3 times, and
Yeah.
they're probably more alpha readers than beta readers, but yeah, like they're seeing it. And if somebody is accusing me of using AI because I overuse M dashes, well, that just shows that you don't have a strong literary background, because so does Jane Eyre, right?
It's enraging. It's enraging.
It's
All right.
frustrating. And it's so damaging as well, because it, like, if you don't have any proof, like, how dare you?
Yeah.
How do you accuse somebody of something that's so, yeah, it's I don't
And
even
like
have words because I'm getting
yeah,
so
and
angry.
well, I think the danger of it is the herd mentality and just what
Yeah,
people, the critical thinking people will just see, like, like my dad will send me a reel that he sees. I'm like, Dad, like this isn't real. Like, like this
yeah,
is, yeah. And I
yeah.
think that's what's scary. The herd mentality that's frightening.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, all right.
Fuck
Moving
AI.
on. Okay, real quick, 'cause I know you have to go to work. Um, how have your goals shifted? Because
Ooh,
now you're agented. You check the box. You don't have to tell us what the goals are, but I think, like I always say, because my therapist told me this a long time ago, because she's brilliant, and she was like, make sure you know how you define success, because you don't want it
oh
to
my
pass you
God.
by. You want to like be able to, when you get there, be like, oh, I did it, and enjoy that. Because if you're always looking for the next, it's good to do that, but make sure you know how to define success along the way, because it will
Yeah.
change.
Speaking of which, how did you feel when you landed your agent?
It was, first of all, it was so rad the way it happened. Like, because my children have been with me. I have 2 kids. I have a son who's 11 and a daughter who's 8, and we're so close. They are just my best buddies, really cool kids. And they were doing something. Maya was coloring, and Cade was doing something on baseball probably. And I was like, oh, let me just check my query tracker real quick. I'll just check my email because like constantly. And I went to sit on the couch, and I checked my spam folder. And Gemma's email was in my spam folder to invite me to be like, I love your story. And she had my full. So she had requested my full like a week prior. So I wasn't expecting to hear anything, but I always check my spam, whatever. And it was like, hey, I read this in a day, loved it. Like, I'd love to get on, call next week and talk about, what you got cooking and what your author career. And I was like, oh my God, nice. I think so I was right over there, and I started screaming. And my daughter instantly, she's like, did you get an agent? And Kate was like, did you? I'm like, I don't know, read the email. What is that? Like, just double check me before I get excited. And then he's like, she wants to meet you. And like, so I'm jumping up and down, and my partner had gone to run out of air, and I was like, oh, he's not here. And then he came in the door, and my daughter ran to the door, and she's like, Mom, you got the book, look at an agent. It was so cute. and like special, and like I cried, and it was just, and then like when I got on the call, I just felt so comfortable, and I knew like you have to do the 2 weeks and everything, but I knew I was like I just, this is my person, and this is how this is going to go, and it's just, I think it's funny because it was like so joyous, but it was also like, oh my god, yeah, and like, yeah, like, because so it's funny talking about goals and how they shifted and stuff. Getting an agent, I was running on spite because I was told that I would never get an agent. So I like to joke that anything past this point is confetti.
I love that.
It's not like I have other goals, but yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah. And how about you? Because I remember talking to you like the day before or something. Was it like a Monday or something? And I was like, happy call day. And you were like, it's not, I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, I didn't really believe it, to be honest. I was like, oh yeah, sure, maybe. I think she's just kind of like wanting to touch base and like, yeah. I like it didn't sink in for a long time. And it's really weird because I didn't have this like huge reaction that I expected to have because
Yeah.
I didn't want everybody to know, like I wasn't sharing it with my family at the time because I was like, I need everything to be signed, sealed, and delivered before I announce anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of got the email just before the Easter long weekend, and I was like, oh my god, but then I didn't have anybody to celebrate with.
Yeah.
I was like on my own at like 3 o'clock in the morning because seeing the email going, this is your official offer.
Oh.
And yeah, I kind of had to keep it all in and not say anything. So I did put an announcement on Instagram, and the reaction of the community was incredible.
Oh, that's such a good day. That was such a cool day. Yeah.
That was a really cool day. But yeah, like as far as everybody else knew, I was just like, just being me.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. So I put it on Facebook, and it came with like a huge disclaimer because like no one in my immediate world is like in publishing. I don't have like a lot of reader friends, but not anyone who would know what it meant. So like before I said, I'm like, here is what this means. This is how big a deal this is. And then so then I think people were like, oh. It's like, be excited.
Just so you know, this is huge.
Yeah, well, because I'm not very good at celebrating myself. I'm really not.
Neither. Yeah.
And it's funny to say that when you're like, you post a lot about yourself. It's just like, but in person, like, thanks. You know, like, okay, look over there. Yeah, look at my kid. Look at him doing like that. I'm way more comfortable celebrating my kids. My partner's the same way. So it's like, you know, those two, the chipmunks. It's like, oh no, after you. Oh no. Like, anyway.
But yeah, as far as goals now I am just hanging out for the 2-book deal. I want my deal. I want these books out in the world because I've got readers that have been thirsting over it for almost a year, and they have stuck with me, and they like, I've got over, I think, 5,000 on Instagram, about over 1,000 on like an email list. And I do get messages every once in a while going, any news on the book and when it's coming out?
Like,
I wish it was supposed to be out.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. But like, you gotta just, I mean, it's like the whole query time. It's like, you gotta trust
the timing.
Trust the timing, and it's glacial. It's freaking glacial.
So glacial, especially because it's American summer, right? And so like, because we're querying in the US, it's really quiet at the moment.
Yeah.
And like, we've decided to take August off, and we'll start like sending queries out again to editors in September.
Yeah.
Because I think it starts picking up then. And like the feedback we're getting is great.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed there's an editor that's just, you know,
the
right fit. Because it's like, I think your agent and your editor are your two, the biggest decisions you can make in this career, right? Like, you need to have an editor who understands the nuances of the book and where you're going and what your vision is, and who respects you as an artist, but also has the business acumen to take what you've created and take it to the next level. And that trust is needed. So, because I've heard stories where editors have just been really harsh, and like that can really screw up your confidence. So, I mean, I already take criticism because you have to in this industry. You get rejected a lot. I think we probably have a rejection kink. I think all writers do. But
but I think it's just that a little bit of Delulu is the Salulu.
It is. I mean, you have to be a little bit delusional to get into this career, because like,
right? Like, do you know how many books exist in the world? And I'm going to join them. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Let's wrap with what's your a favorite recent read? Because I finished one today and I cried.
Okay. I recently, Leigh Bardugo, both Ninth House and Hellbent, I audioed them in probably like a couple of days. I could not stop listening. I just loved it. I don't know why. I mean, I do love Leigh Bardugo anyways. I love her writing. She has this voiciness that just hits right, and I love everything from her historical fantasy to her urban fantasy. So she's one of those writers that is just she crafts so beautifully. And Alex E. Harrow is the other one that I just like worship. I think her use of prose is so elegant. So The Everlasting was the other one that I absolutely loved.
I love Leigh Bardugo. Both of those are great. Like, I read Starling House recently, and then
Starling House
and the Grishaverse. Like, oh my god, I love that whole delicious series. I'm gonna give it a hug. But I read today. I finished Notes on an Execution. I read it in like 24 hours by Danya Kukovka, who is a literary agent, and it just made the I'm gonna screw it up, but it was some list of like the century's best like thriller writing. Wow. It wasn't even like a thriller so much, because you kind of know from the first page what's happening, but I cried. I sat in this chair and I finished the last couple pages, and I just and I don't usually cry with a book, but it was just so, there were some parts that were a little like police procedurally for me, but like overall, like, holy crap, was that good. I think it's from like 2022, I think, but I'm like, it's so cool. I'm like so happy. She's a literary agent. She like just had a baby, and then her book is like back in the news like 4 years later, and it's just so cool. Oh, another, it's upstairs, but Claire Barner. I don't know if you follow her here on socials, but I came across one of her reels, and her book, The Red Woman of Mars. It's a Pride and Prejudice retelling set on Mars, and and she's just so like, I love her socials, and she posted a reel about how all of a sudden she's just climbing the Amazon charts. And I found it at my indie bookstore, and I picked it up, and I just wanted to mention it here because I
love that.
I got it because I liked her so much, and I love Pride and Prejudice, but all right. Well, I know you have to go to work, and Instagram didn't kick us off this time like it did just. So I will, if you're just joining us, it's been people popping in and out. I'm going to post this to my YouTube channel later, but I'll get some pieces up here on Instagram as well. But it was nice to talk to you in person.
I know. It's so good to catch up.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much for joining. Have a lovely day at work.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.